what this other language is. Kan Berit die Ethendecket van Ashwashvalen plus
What
are
two.
you
Sounds
doing?
like German. Having a stroke.
Kut Aga plus 3. Oh.
He sounds like he's stroking out over there.
Right?
No, the
Andrew,
other
do you
monster
smell
are-
toast?
Right? Because you're having a heart attack.
No,
No, that's...
but I probably will
no.
smell garlic bread later
That is-
tonight.
If you smell toast, they say that's you're having a heart attack.
Pretty sure that's a stroke. Pretty sure you don't
Well,
smell
same
things and have a
thing.
heart attack. Pretty
Yeah,
sure
heart
you're
attack
lying.
is pain in your Dude. left arm, I believe.
Pain
A
in your
stroke's no
chest.
joke, guys.
You know, like your heart hurts because
No, that's
Attacking
not you? exactly.
No, sometimes it's just preferred, man. Most of the time it isn't.
Sometimes you're just burning toast. All right, so
Last night I thought I was having a... Oh, go on. Okay. Here we go. Get it over with.
yeah, no one cares about your medical needs.
yeah, I was gonna say no one cares about your almost stroke. Not important.
I was scared.
Probably just a kidney stone anyways.
It was.
So before I start, go ahead and tell your stroke story, Carl. I want to get inside in case a storm
I
rolls
was
up.
in the
Whoa,
Oh, shower.
Wait,
last night.
whoa! I don't need to know what was going on with you in the shower, bro.
It was just me, myself, and I, man. I don't, you know. No, and Erica's making popcorn, but she didn't tell me, and she burned it like she always does. And I was like, oh my god, this is the end. I'm going to die having a stroke in the shower because I'm going to drown. And no one's going to know because I take long showers, and they pull me out, and I'm look like a lobster. And that was all my fears,
You could look
put
like
together.
a fucking prune. That's what you're gonna look like.
A
Okay.
poopy lobster, Andrew. Okay, so you can go on.
Um, Um,
Oh,
Uh,
Um,
That's a great story. So first of all, what was the question that you asked? I don't even remember on Twitter. Okay, so do you think when you're traveling from planet to planet in No Man's Sky that you are traveling faster than light speed, or are you traveling through the wormholes or folding space? Yes and no. Right? Okay, I totally So- agree with you. But so yes, here- explain. here's
So
the
much
here's
more
the thing.
that needs to be said about that. How can you agree with him?
It's Because not I think faster they than want to light. know. Well, it is faster than light because explicitly when you go into your hyperdrive on your ship, it says FTL propulsion drive. So right off the bat, we know that it's technically faster than light. Problem with that is that they're also referring to warp speed and hyperdrive, which are all like basically because No Man's Sky is cool and because Hello Games are cool, they didn't want to really write they've written all their own rules for how the universe exists. Why Right. come up with their own technology and their own way of doing faster than light travel or interstellar travel? So they're literally pulling on references from all three of the majors, which is generic FTL, hyperdrive being Star Wars, and warp drives being Star Trek. Now, the problem is that some of them are the opposite of each other. So warp speed, as classically determined and classically defined in Star Trek, is technically sublight speed. It goes up to warp factor 9.98, I believe, was the last one discussed in any real merit on the series, and that was a factor, or it was some sort of fraction of light speed, because the creators of Star Trek were at least somewhat trying to be based in real science and knew that light speed itself was impossible. That said, the hyperspace drive in Star Wars that they also reference, we know that that is also somewhat less. It's not necessarily. It might be light speed, but we know it also takes place in the same dimension as normal space travel, because there are references in A New Hope and I believe Empire Strikes Back, where Han references having to make the necessary calculations so they don't blast through a star while they're in hyperspace. And that's something we don't hear in Star Trek. They're not making those calculations, at least not that we hear about. They're also not making any trajectory changes in order to go into warp space, typically. Or not warp space, into warp. They're just kind of going into warp. So, how does that relate to No Man's Sky? No Man's Sky, we know, is technically faster than light. But I'm going to operate under the same principles as the rest of this, which is that nothing is truly faster than light. It doesn't truly exist. So there's some sort of technology there that is circumventing the maximum hypothetical speed. To do that, the answer would be yes. I'd say it's some sort of tunneling, or something outside of normal space dimensions like subspace and Star Trek. Because when you make a jump in between systems in the no man's sky, you're not changing direction. We're not seeing any, calculations. We're not. I mean, obviously, we're not doing them. Who knows? They're not going to make us do those anyway. But you're not seeing those trajectory changes that would be required to do, to not go through a planet core or something else like that. You're also not. It doesn't matter what direction you're facing. So like I can start warping while looking at as long as I'm outside the gravity well of a planet, I can be looking straight at a planet and make that jump. So answer to your question is yes and no. It is faster than light, but it's also not something we've traditionally seen. So, but I will say it's not wormholes, because wormholes are what Andrew's been using to jump around the systems and jump around the galaxy, using black holes and wormholes to teleport from one end of the galaxy to the other. So it can't be that. So it's got to be some sort of tunneling, or folding. Tunneling and folding are pretty much the same thing in this concept.
I agree. Because, like, how else would you be able to go back to a planet you've been to before and have it be the exact same as you left it?
Correct.
It has to be folding or warp.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, in all of science fiction, I could be wrong on this because there's a lot of science fiction out there, and I'm probably not well versed. I'm not well versed in a lot of it, but to my knowledge, there's only one quote-unquote stable wormhole that will deliver you from point A to point B reliably every single time in all of popular science fiction, and that's in Deep Space Nine, Star Trek, the series. And that's not even technically a wormhole. Technically, it's a group of aliens that live outside normal space and time, and they've deemed it, advantageous to give people access from one quadrant of the galaxy to the other quadrant of the galaxy. Stargate I don't think that was typically a wormhole. Those were man-made artifacts designed to...
They're like teleporters.
Yeah. Also a technology that was
Andrew.
referenced in Star Trek, but... so, yeah, because I thought about Stargate, and I was like, I don't consider those wormholes of the traditional sense. They might be. I mean, technically they could be wormholes, and they could be man-made.
Yeah, that makes them lighter.
It's not a wormhole.
That's wrong.
That thing.
What am I doing in this game, though? Alright. No, that's done. I can stop sharing. Care, nobody needs to see this shit. I took advantage of the fact that I did do some dishes,